Bangladesh, a nation of paradoxes, stands as a testament to resilience, cultural richness, and historical significance. It is a country where the past and the future exist side by side, where ancient traditions continue to shape daily life, even as modernity makes its mark. From its vibrant streets bustling with activity to its serene rural landscapes, Bangladesh is a land of breathtaking contrasts. Its story is one of struggle and triumph, of economic ambition shadowed by persistent challenges, and of a people whose unbreakable spirit defines the essence of the nation. At first glance, Bangladesh may appear as a small nation tucked away in South Asia, but it holds some of the most astonishing facts that defy common expectations. With a population density among the highest in the world, its cities are a whirlwind of movement, energy, and resilience. Dhaka, the capital, is a metropolis that never sleeps, where over 20 million people navigate through a maze of rickshaws, buses, and motorcycles, creating an urban symphony of honking horns and hurried footsteps. Yet beyond the chaos lies an undeniable charm, one that is reflected in the warmth of its people, the flavors of its food, and the deep-rooted traditions that bind its society together. This is a land where floating schools navigate through flooded villages, ensuring that education remains accessible even in the most challenging conditions. It is a place where a national movement to preserve a mother tongue led to sacrifices so great that it eventually paved the way for independence. Despite economic struggles, Bangladesh is the second largest exporter of garments in the world, dressing millions while its own workers continue to battle for fair wages. Women have led the country for decades, yet in many rural areas, gender inequality remains deeply entrenched. The nation's history is written in the walls of its Mughal forts and the grandeur of its colonial-era palaces, while its borders tell a story of one of the most complex territorial agreements ever resolved in modern times. But beyond the facts and figures, what truly defines Bangladesh is its spirit. It is a country of storytellers, of dreamers, of people who, despite the odds, continue to push forward. Fishermen rise before dawn to cast their nets in the vast rivers. Street vendors fill the air with the aroma of sizzling delicacies, and children laugh as they fly kites under the endless sky. Bangladesh is not just a country. It is an experience, a vibrant and living mosaic of history, culture, and human resilience. As we embark on this journey to uncover the untold stories of Bangladesh, we will witness the struggles, the triumphs, and the everyday moments that make this country truly extraordinary. From its unique marriage customs to the shocking realities of its garment industry, from its rich architectural heritage to the ingenious floating schools that defy nature's obstacles, each revelation will challenge perceptions and paint a more profound picture of what Bangladesh truly is. In the end, Bangladesh is not just a place on the map. It is a story that continues to unfold. A story of survival, innovation, and hope. And as we dive deeper into its wonders, one thing becomes clear. This is a country that refuses to be defined by its struggles alone. It is a land of ambition, perseverance, and an indomitable will to move forward. And that, perhaps, is what makes Bangladesh truly remarkable. 1. Shocking marriage customs, the double-edged sword of tradition. Marriage in Bangladesh is not merely a union between two individuals. It is an institution deeply ingrained in culture, religion, and economic survival. However, behind the colorful ceremonies and joyous celebrations lies a reality that is often far less glamorous. The country has one of the highest child marriage rates in the world, with 1 in 3 girls married before the age of 15, and over 2/3 before they reach 18. This practice, though officially outlawed, remains widespread, particularly in rural areas where economic hardship compels families to seek financial security through marriage. Many families, unable to afford their daughters' education or long-term care, opt for early marriage as a means of transferring responsibility. The dowry system, though illegal, continues to influence decisions. Parents often marry their daughters off young, because a younger bride typically requires a lower dowry payment. For these young girls, marriage often means the end of their education and the beginning of an existence defined by domestic labor and early motherhood. The consequences of this practice are severe: high maternal mortality rates, increased vulnerability to domestic violence, and limited opportunities for independence. Yet Bangladesh also presents a stark contrast in its marriage customs. Among the Mandi, Garo people, a tribal community in the country, marriage follows a matrilineal system where women, rather than men, inherit property and family responsibilities. In this society, if a widow loses her husband, she is traditionally required to marry a younger, unmarried man from the community, sometimes even leading to cases where a mother and her daughter unknowingly marry into the same family. This rare practice, while culturally significant, is often a subject of curiosity and controversy. Marriage customs in Bangladesh embody the nation's contrasts: deeply patriarchal in most areas, yet uniquely matriarchal in certain tribal traditions. This paradox reflects the broader theme of Bangladesh, a country that upholds centuries-old traditions while simultaneously struggling to break free from them. 2. Legal prostitution and the human trafficking crisis. One of the most disturbing realities of Bangladesh is the existence of legal prostitution, a system that, while legal on paper, operates under circumstances that are anything but humane. With approximately 100,000 women working in the sex industry, Bangladesh is home to some of South Asia's largest brothel towns. However, the statistics reveal a darker truth. Only 10% of these women enter the industry voluntarily. Many girls are sold into prostitution by their own families due to extreme poverty. Others are deceived with false promises of jobs in cities, only to be kidnapped and forced into brothels. Once trapped, many women find themselves in debt bondage, a system where brothel owners claim they owe money for basic needs such as food, shelter, and even clothing, forcing them to work indefinitely. Some women spend decades paying off an imaginary debt, unable to escape. Even more horrifying is the role of human trafficking. Bangladesh serves as a major hub for trafficking networks, with many women and girls smuggled to neighboring countries, such as India, Malaysia, and the Middle East, where they are sold into forced labor or sexual slavery. The conviction rate for human traffickers remains shockingly low, less than 0.5%, meaning that justice is nearly non-existent for victims. Despite legal recognition, prostitution in Bangladesh remains a system of exploitation rather than empowerment. Women in the industry face extreme stigma, making reintegration into society nearly impossible. Those who attempt to leave find that job opportunities are scarce, and many return to the industry simply to survive. This reality exposes a deep flaw in Bangladesh's legal framework. While prostitution is technically allowed, there is no real protection for those trapped in it. It is a stark reminder that legality does not always mean justice. 3. The traffic nightmare in Dhaka, a city at war with itself. Nowhere is Bangladesh's struggle with urbanization more evident than in its capital, Dhaka. With a population exceeding 17 million, the city is one of the most densely populated places on Earth. But while its people have adapted to the chaos, the infrastructure has not. Dhaka is home to nearly 400,000 cycle rickshaws, earning it the title of the rickshaw capital of the world. However, the city's roads are not built to accommodate such numbers, leading to an urban nightmare, where traffic lights are ignored. Intersections turn into battlegrounds, and commute times stretch endlessly. More than 500,000 unlicensed vehicles flood the streets daily, making traffic laws almost impossible to enforce. The public transport system is equally chaotic. With only 4,000 buses available for millions of people, each bus carries an average of 4,250 passengers per day, a staggering statistic that highlights the lack of infrastructure. Overcrowding is not just an inconvenience, it is a daily struggle for survival, where passengers hang onto buses, squeeze into crammed spaces, or even sit on the roof of vehicles just to get to their destination. The railway system is no different. Thousands of passengers travel on the roofs of trains, holding on to whatever they can, despite the risk of electrocution or fatal falls. For many, this is not a choice. It is the only way to affordably travel. The consequences of this urban chaos are far-reaching. Traffic congestion alone costs Bangladesh an estimated $3 billion annually in lost productivity. Air pollution from vehicle emissions has reached dangerous levels, making Dhaka one of the most polluted cities in the world. For residents, this daily struggle is simply a part of life, a testament to their resilience, but also a glaring indication of a system in desperate need of reform. 4. The family without fingerprints, a rare genetic condition. Imagine a world where unlocking a phone, signing documents, or simply proving your identity is nearly impossible. This is the daily reality for the Shaka family in northern Bangladesh, who have lived for 4 generations with adermatoglyphia, a rare genetic disorder that leaves individuals without fingerprints. Fingerprints are more than just unique identifiers. They play a crucial role in modern security systems. In today's digital age, where biometric verification is required for passports, national IDs, and even SIM card registration, those without fingerprints face an uphill battle. In Bangladesh, where government-issued identification is necessary for nearly every aspect of life, from banking to travel to voting, the Shaka family struggles to complete even the simplest bureaucratic processes. But this rare condition does more than just complicate official paperwork. The lack of fingerprints also affects daily life. In many parts of the world, especially in security-sensitive environments like airports and border controls, fingerprint scans are mandatory. Without them, individuals can be suspected of criminal activity or face unnecessary scrutiny. Scientists believe adermatoglyphia is caused by mutations in the SMARCAD1 gene, which affects skin development. While rare, cases have been recorded in other parts of the world, earning the condition the nickname immigration delay disease, a fitting term for a disorder that can turn simple travel into an overwhelming challenge. The Shaka family's story is not just about genetics. It is about how a rare condition can redefine identity, access, and survival in a world increasingly dependent on biometric technology. 5. Women in politics versus everyday struggles. A nation of contradictions. Bangladesh is often hailed as a country where women have held some of the highest offices in the land. For over 3 decades, the nation has been led by female prime ministers, including Khaleda Zia and Sheikh Hasina, 2 of the most influential figures in South Asian politics. Their leadership has shaped Bangladesh's economy, foreign relations, and social policies. Yet, despite having women in positions of power, everyday life for the average Bangladeshi woman remains full of challenges. Patriarchal traditions, economic dependency, and limited job opportunities continue to restrict women's empowerment at the grassroots level. While political elites make decisions on a national scale, millions of women in rural Bangladesh still struggle with forced marriages, dowries, and domestic violence. One of the most glaring contradictions lies in the garment industry, where 80% of workers are women, yet they are often underpaid, overworked, and exploited. Despite their economic contributions, many female workers still face gender-based discrimination and unequal pay. The paradox is striking. On one hand, Bangladesh is seen as a leader in female political empowerment. On the other, many of its women still lack basic rights and financial independence. The country's progress in gender equality is both inspiring and incomplete, a testament to the ongoing battle between tradition and modernity. 6. The garment industry, a paradox of wealth and poverty. Bangladesh is the second largest garment exporter in the world, trailing only behind China. The industry generates over $40 billion annually, supplying brands like H&M, Zara, Levi's, and Nike. At first glance, this seems like an economic success story, an industry that provides employment to over 4 million people, most of whom are women. But behind this global success lies a dark reality. Despite their crucial role in the industry, garment workers often earn less than $100 per month, an amount barely sufficient to survive. Factories are overcrowded, poorly ventilated, and unsafe, with workers enduring long hours, delayed wages, and unsafe conditions. One of the worst tragedies in Bangladesh's history occurred in 2013, when the Rana Plaza factory collapsed, killing over 1,100 workers and injuring thousands more. The incident was a wake-up call for the global fashion industry, exposing the inhumane working conditions in many factories. Despite international pressure for reforms, many workers still face wage delays, abusive treatment, and the constant threat of factory fires or collapses. This paradox, the industry's immense wealth versus its workers' extreme poverty, underscores one of the greatest social injustices in modern Bangladesh. The garment industry is a double-edged sword. It has helped boost Bangladesh's economy, but at a devastating human cost. Unless systemic reforms ensure worker rights, this sector will remain a symbol of exploitation rather than empowerment. 7. Unique cultural practices and food. A taste of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a country where culture and tradition blend seamlessly into daily life, shaping everything from how people dress to what they eat. One of the most noticeable aspects of Bangladeshi culture is the lungi, a traditional garment worn by men. Unlike trousers, lungis are wrapped and tied around the waist, allowing for comfort and ventilation in the country's hot, humid climate. Adjusting one's lungi in public is a common and accepted practice, a cultural norm that often amuses outsiders. But nothing reflects Bangladeshi culture more than its food. The country's cuisine is rich, diverse, and deeply connected to its history and geography. Among the most famous dishes is panta bhat, a simple yet beloved meal of fermented rice soaked in water, often eaten with mustard oil, green chilies, and fried hilsa fish. This dish is especially popular among the rural population and holds deep cultural significance during the Pahela Baishak, Bengali New Year, celebrations. Another standout element of Bangladeshi cuisine is the bahut jolokia chili, also known as the ghost pepper, one of the spiciest chilies in the world. Known for its intense heat, it is not for the faint-hearted and is often used in curries, pickles, and spicy chutneys. The country's street food culture is also legendary, with bustling markets serving fuchka, spicy water-filled dumplings, chaat poti, spiced chickpea and potato mix, and jalapi, deep-fried syrupy sweets. These foods are not just meals, they are an essential part of social life, bringing people together across generations. Bangladesh's cultural practices, whether in clothing, food, or traditions, reflect a deep-rooted connection to history, family, and community. The country's uniqueness lies in its ability to preserve its traditions while embracing modern influences. 8. Education on water. The floating schools of Bangladesh. Education is often considered the most powerful tool for change, but in Bangladesh, where 1/3 of the country floods annually, accessing education is not always easy. In the low-lying regions of Bangladesh, thousands of children are unable to attend school for months due to floodwaters submerging roads and classrooms. To combat this, a remarkable innovation was introduced: the floating schools of Bangladesh. These unique institutions are built on 50-foot-long wooden boats, designed to function as fully equipped classrooms. Each floating school includes solar-powered computers, small libraries, and internet access, ensuring students can continue their education despite the rising waters. The concept was pioneered by the Shidulai Swanarvar Sangstha, a non-profit organization that realized that if children couldn't go to school, then school should come to them. More than 100 floating schools now operate across the flood-prone areas, helping thousands of students continue their education year-round. This initiative has become a global model for climate resilience and educational access, proving that innovation can transform even the most difficult circumstances. It is a testament to Bangladesh's ability to adapt and find creative solutions in the face of adversity. 9. Historical and architectural landmarks, the legacy of empires. Bangladesh's history is etched into its architecture, reflecting the various rulers, cultures, and civilizations that have left their mark on this land. From the Mughal Empire to the British colonial period, each era has contributed to the country's stunning array of historical monuments. One of the most striking examples is Lal Bagh Fort, an incomplete Mughal fortress built in 1678 by Prince Muhammad Azam, the son of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. The fort, situated in the heart of Dhaka, is a masterpiece of Mughal architecture, featuring beautifully designed mosques, mausoleums, and gardens. Although it was never completed due to political turmoil, it remains a symbol of Mughal influence in Bengal. Another iconic structure is Ahsan Manzil, also known as the Pink Palace. Built in the 19th century, this magnificent palace was once the residence of the Nawab of Dhaka, showcasing the wealth and power of the ruling elite. Today, it has been transformed into a museum, offering a glimpse into the opulence of colonial-era Bangladesh. From the Buddhist ruins of Mahastangar to the 60-domed mosque of Bagharhat, Bangladesh is a country where architecture tells stories of conquests, faith, and resilience. 10. The world's most complicated border, a cartographic puzzle. Few borders in the world have been as bizarre and complicated as the one between Bangladesh and India. For centuries, the two countries were entangled in a web of 160 land enclaves, territories completely surrounded by another country, creating an impossible geopolitical nightmare. Before a resolution was reached in 2015, some of these enclaves had enclaves within enclaves, meaning a piece of India was inside Bangladesh, which was inside India again. This led to severe difficulties for the people living in these areas. They had no access to basic services like schools, hospitals, or even government assistance. This border confusion was a result of colonial-era agreements between the Mughal Empire and the British Raj, which left behind a tangle of unclaimed and disputed territories. After decades of diplomatic talks, the 2015 Land Boundary Agreement finally simplified the situation, exchanging enclaves and granting citizenship to over 50,000 people. The resolution of this bizarre territorial dispute was hailed as one of the greatest diplomatic achievements in South Asian history, proving that even the most complex problems can find peaceful solutions. 11th. A country bursting at the seams. Geography and population. Bangladesh is a land of staggering numbers. With a population exceeding 160 million people, it is one of the most densely populated countries on Earth. The capital, Dhaka, is home to over 35,000 people per square kilometer, making it one of the most overcrowded cities in the world. This extreme population density has created severe challenges, including traffic congestion that lasts for hours, unmanageable levels of pollution, a housing crisis where slums expand rapidly. Despite these difficulties, Bangladesh's people display remarkable resilience. The country has embraced rapid urbanization, with high-rise buildings and expanding metro projects attempting to accommodate its growing population. But for millions, daily life remains a constant struggle for space, resources, and mobility. 12. A nation that fought for its language. The Bengali identity. Bangladesh is the only country in the world that fought a war for the right to speak its own language. In 1947, when British India was partitioned, East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and West Pakistan, now Pakistan, were united as one country, despite their vast cultural and linguistic differences. The Pakistani government attempted to impose Urdu as the national language, disregarding the fact that the majority of East Pakistan's population spoke Bengali. This led to the language movement of 1952, a powerful student-led uprising demanding the recognition of Bengali as an official language. On February 21, 1952, police opened fire on protesters in Dhaka, killing several students. Their sacrifice was not in vain. Bengali was officially recognized, and this movement ultimately fueled the fight for Bangladesh's independence in 1971. Today, February 21st is observed as International Mother Language Day, recognized by UNESCO, honoring those who died for the right to speak their own tongue. Bangladesh's linguistic identity is a source of deep national pride, a reminder that language is not just a means of communication, but a symbol of freedom and self-determination. As we bring our journey through Bangladesh to a close, one undeniable truth stands out. This is a country that defies expectations at every turn. It is a land of paradoxes, where the weight of history meets the drive for progress, where centuries-old traditions stand resilient in the face of modernization, and where struggle is met with an unyielding determination to rise above. From the chaotic yet electrifying streets of Dhaka to the tranquil floating villages that defy nature's wrath, Bangladesh is a place where life moves in vibrant rhythms. It is a country of extremes, where the fashion industry fuels a booming economy, yet its workers continue to fight for fair wages. Where women lead the nation's highest offices, yet many still battle the harsh realities of inequality in their everyday lives. Where borders once tangled in a labyrinth of history have now found resolution, proving that even the most complex disputes can be untangled with patience and persistence. But beyond its struggles, Bangladesh is a country of heart and soul. It is in the laughter of children playing along the banks of its mighty rivers, in the resilience of farmers tending to their flooded fields, and in the stories carried by every street vendor, fisherman, and factory worker. It is in the aromas of its spice-laden dishes, the melodies of its folk songs, and the warmth of its people, who welcome strangers as if they were family. Bangladesh is not just a country. It is a living, breathing testament to human endurance, creativity, and hope. It is a place where adversity is met with ingenuity, where progress is carved out of hardship, and where the future, no matter how uncertain, is always faced with courage. So, what surprised you the most about Bangladesh? Was it the floating schools that ensure education continues despite the floods? The rich history embedded in its Mughal-era forts? Or perhaps the incredible story of a family born without fingerprints, navigating a modern world that demands identification at every turn? No matter what it was, one thing is certain: Bangladesh is a nation unlike any other. A country of resilience, a country of dreams, a country that continues to write its story, one chapter at a time. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found these insights fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering the incredible stories that shape our world.